Welcome back. In case you just joined us, this is the press reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. All right, we've now been joined by a guest, Wale Oloko, who's a policy analyst for most of the newspaper headlines we've just read out to you.
And of course, it's pertinent to note that our phone lines are open for you to state your facts and, of course, few of your opinions. So please do call us.
All right, you're welcome, Mr. Wale.
You're welcome, Mr.
Good morning.
Wale. Good morning, sir.
Glad to be here.
Lovely to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
All right, there's this headline that has been hitting the polity beyond what is happening in Nigeria. In fact, it's not even beyond, because it's actually everything going on in the country that has been expressed in the papers. The cash swap, the fuel scarcity, and everything. Now, on Nigerian Tribune, it says cash swap, court stops Buhari CBN from shifting February 10th deadline. Now, some persons are saying that the space of time for this cash swap is too short. They're expecting probably a 6-month thing before this cashless policy should come in. But regardless of the deadline shift, do you think the biting hard is going to be cushioned regardless?
Well, it's good. At least you are not asking that we should talk about the judgment or whatever is in the offing. The bottom line is that we are likely to continue to experience this difficulty. And then what I will advise is last week, Friday, I think the governors, APC governors, met the president, and then he promised to revert to them within 7 days. And so the 7 days will lapse, I think, on Thursday or Friday, about the time that the so-called deadline that CBN has also given. So I think it's better we should calm down, allow the president to intervene, because he's still the de jure and de facto president of the country, notwithstanding that he has less than 6 months to go. And in that line, we also understand that whatever the outcome of the so-called judgment of yesterday, the 3 states, Kaduna, Jigawa, and then Zamfara, they have gone to the Supreme Court, originating someone there, because that's where they can actually handle this kind of situation. So this one is not the final case per se, because the Supreme Court can still overrule. And even the CBN Act provides that as long as they still have my money, notwithstanding that it's no longer a legal tender, I can still take it to the CBN. So I think what we are having is an issue of logistics, so to say. I don't know if it is true that the governor of Kaduna State said CBN planned to withdraw close to 3 trillion out of circulation, but CBN only managed to print about 460 billion naira. So you can imagine the difference, so we are likely to face this kind of difficulty. I think they are trying to do 2 things together: change the face of currency, the redesign, and at the same time try to create a cashless society, believing that by the time you withdraw so large an amount from society, you can easily reduce and then turn them to cashless. But I will have thought that they should have done some kind of spade work. Try Lagos, try Kano, try Rivers, those states as cashless first, because they are already into that kind of mood, rather than say the whole nation, Yobe, Zamfara, where in some states they only have bank branches in 2 out of 20 local governments. It's likely that people will face a lot of difficulties, and that is what we are seeing. And I have every belief, like that's what I told Annabelle 2 weeks ago when she was talking about deadline. I said, no way that CBN will shift, and it did. I have every belief that it's going to happen again.
That there's going to be another
there's nothing that anybody can do about that. The pressure will be too much, because you are supposed to govern the people.
Of course.
The laws are made for the people. Yes. Not that you now say man should now be the one to be the target. No, it's not possible. You can't see your people suffering and then at the same time scarcity and cash scarcity. No. You can't, as a human being, as a president, as a father of a nation. And the governors too, they are complaining, they are talking. I mean, let us remove the aspect that politicians are trying to use money or not. No, let us not bring that, because we don't have the facts. But we are seeing that people are really suffering. Some don't even have 2,000 naira. Some can't even afford to pay their transport fare.
Some can't even afford to feed their children or even send them to school.
So that's just the situation. So I have every belief that something is likely to happen. Something likely to give.
Okay, speaking about facts, we have on the Nation newspaper for today, EFCC arrests bank officials with 29 million naira new notes.
Yeah.
And now we've been talking about the fact that the cash is not in circulation right now. What's your general overview about this particular issue?
You know, fine. It's not going to solve the problem. Don't forget. Let us not be forgetful. Initially, the directive given by CBN to bank was don't load 1,000 naira. Just load 500 and 200. And the maximum you can collect per day, 20,000. So when you are giving them 500, for example, give a branch 50 million naira. Definitely you can't expect that the bank should load everything at the same time. And that's why I sympathize with the banks. Well, they're taking them to court. They will have their day in court. They'll be able to explain and express their situation. But I have every doubt that these people deliberately put this in aside in order not to free people. And don't forget again, when you have your system, the ATM, there's a limit to which that ATM can dispense. ATM can collapse. Don't forget that even if you are trying to do transfer, you may try throughout the whole day, you will not be able to get it.
Very true.
And it's not only everywhere that you find ATM. Not everywhere you have bank branches. So this idea of saying that you want to pick bankers to court and so on and so forth, well, let us wait. Let us give them the benefit of that. But I doubt very much that any bank at all, what will they want to do with it? Okay, the idea that, okay, they're selling currency in some places. Okay, let's assume that it's happening in Lagos, at parties, at functions. Is it happening in Bono? Is it happening in Yobe? It's only in Lagos that we don't even get new notes. Even before this current situation where you have redesign, people have been selling notes. Have you not been aware? The CBN not aware? The police not aware? Other agencies. So let us not be too much in a hurry to condemn banks. I'm not holding the friends. I'm not holding the opinion for them. Yeah, okay. But it is not reasonable to say that, okay, don't load your ATM with 1,000 naira. And we are giving them 1,000 naira. Would they keep it out or keep it down? And don't forget, CBN said, don't pay cash over the counter, only at ATM. So these are some of the things that we have to understand and appreciate the situation the banks they are in now. But it's unfortunate that so-called bank branches or bank branch managers will now be faced with all this difficulty. Maybe they have to pay for their legal fees.
Truly unfortunate. But then they say there's nothing that has a disadvantage that does not have an advantage. Okay. So should we really say, do you see this as giving the Naira value at this point?
No, the value in the sense of, was it vis-a-vis foreign currency?
Of course, yeah.
No, Olamide, don't forget, we have discussed this before. The value of Naira is not determined by whether you change or swap or you do anything about the design. No, 1 Naira is still 1 Naira.
Very scarce.
No, it's not scarce. What is happening is that they are now saying, okay, don't use paper money, but use your ATM, use your phone, use USSD. That in itself will not determine whether this is the value will increase. Don't forget, we are producing close to 1.6, or we used to produce 1.6, 1.7 million barrels of crude oil. At a point, it got to 900,000 barrels. You are paying to import refined fuel. You are paying with the so-called fuel you are producing. So you don't have as much resources in terms of foreign exchange as you have to defend Naira. That is the problem. So the idea of thinking that swap or the redesign will affect the currency is not very likely, because you are not increasing the quantum of the foreign exchange reserve that we have. Number one. Number two, we are still importing a lot of things.
Absolutely.
So it's not going to happen. And our manufacturing base is collapsing, if not collapsed. See the whole of Kano State that used to be the base of textile industry. They are no longer producing. And if you are producing, if you are now saying that we are bringing in almost everything, then you are going to pay, because Naira is not a convertible currency. You can't pay. And don't forget, from the reports we are saying now, even in Badagry, Naira used to, Naira in Badagry, which is Nigeria, then Seme, which is the border, and the other side of the Benin. But now they are using SEFA because of scarcity of Naira. That does not mean that the value has increased. No, it's because it's not available and you are forcing them to go cashless. That's just it. So it will not affect the value of the currency at all. All
right, let's quickly take this call before we proceed. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. You're welcome to the press. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Good morning. I'm calling from Benin State.
All right, please join the conversation.
Now, like as your analyst was saying, you see, if happens that we should go backward in this Naira redesign now. This will not go away. Are you hearing me?
Of course.
We are not going back. Like we are saying that this thing take the money away. If you look to it, this announcement was made, if I'm not mistaken, it's from either December or so, that they are going to change the Naira. So everybody should be alert in such a, okay, look at the governors that are complaining. Now, why are they complaining? And most of these governors, they are not paying salaries in their state. That is to show that they accumulate this money just for the election. People are complaining that because they target the governors or the politicians because of this and that.
Well, that's an allegation.
Many of them have sought money, huge amount of money in their homes. This money, almost the whole money we are being kept at home, and there is no money in the bank.
Well, you know that's
how then can you give them money to withdraw? So the extension of that date is not needed. Let's just face it.
Okay.
No matter what, nobody will die. And at the end, we shall have the cost to
thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for your contribution.
Hello, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from. Oh, I think we lost that. We just had a caller saying that the deadline extension is not needed. What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think he's a Nigerian. He's entitled to his own opinion. Of course. But there's, I think, a saying, who feels it, knows it.
Knows it, yeah.
If you are in a dire situation, then nobody will tell you that you need to be rescued. You need help. Who doesn't need this help at this moment?
Everyone.
So the man says that we should go ahead. He's entitled to his opinion, But don't forget, whether we like it or not, people can make allegations. We don't have the facts. But the reality is on the street of history. Or do we wait till we start seeing violent protest? Because I don't know, I saw, as I was coming in this morning, I saw a video in a particular state, I can't remember, I don't know the state yet, that some bankers were using this thing to climb across.
We have videos.
Yes. So when it gets to that place that they cannot even go through the front gate of the
yes,
branches.
it's currently playing on the screen right
as you can see. So and you are saying that we should not extend or you should extend. Well, Mr. Collins is actually entitled to his own opinion, but I feel that when you have this kind of difficulty and the people are saying, no matter what, regardless of politics now, I think it's just good that the right thing should be done. You can't be going after bankers and say because they are holding it.
So what about timing? You know, some persons would say this is not the right time for this to happen. Yeah. Do you think it's also not the right time?
Olamide, we have discussed this and we have gone beyond that. Yes, there's no doubt about the fact that for the present situation, Nigeria will deserve to have this kind of cashless policy or redesign.
Yes.
Governments can do it, government can go about it. But it has political ramification, both for the ruling party and for other parties. So that is the extent. But now it's done. So we cannot take it back.
Of course.
So if I had not been done, we can say, oh, please don't do it. Please hold on until after election. But somebody will tell you when will be the right time. So that is just the question. But it's already on. The process is already on. You can't reverse the process any longer. The best you can do is to try and cushion the effect and see whether you can adjust the timetable so to say that people will have access to their money. The only unfortunate part of it, and that is why I sympathize with a lot of people that you are saying, when you give that deadline, although some of us can afford to say, okay, no matter what, we are still going to keep some money, and because we can still challenge this so-called timeline in court, we can afford to do that. I didn't take all my cash to bank because I realized that no matter what, CBN will have no choice. And I was telling Anna that
was a risk.
No risk. It's there in the act that yes, it's no longer a legal tender, but there's no how you can prevent me from taking it to CBN without collecting it from me. It's not possible. We're going to challenge that, and if that means we can do that. So, and that is why I'm not in this kind of situation that other people are. But unfortunately, you ask people to pay in their cash, expecting to get the new notes.
Exactly.
But they're not getting it. And that's the thing. So you now use money to buy money. You now use your so-called card to go and buy for POS. And in some places, they charge as much as 1,000 per 10,000 naira.
So it's actually higher than
1,000 naira per 5,000.
So imagine. So if you're earning 30,000 naira, then you'll be paying almost 2,000-3,000 to get that. So
you'll be paying almost 6,000.
So you can see that it's not that easy for anybody. Yeah,
well, now still on the Daily Trust, there's this part where it says 14 political parties threaten poll boycott if they didn't finish that. Then there's the Buhari must act to douse tension. Is it Buhari that must act right now, or Nigerians need to be better? Because of course, like I asked earlier on, few bankers were arrested because they didn't dispense the Naira, new Naira, that's 29 million Naira that was given to them to actually give back to the general public. So now, is this a Buhari matter, or actually we as individuals, do we need to do better?
Oh, let's face it this way. You have 25 or 29 million Naira to serve how many people in which part of the country? We're talking about Abuja. We're talking about Lagos. It's insignificant. It's infinitesimal to the amount of money received from the people. If you have 3 trillion Naira in circulation and you are trying to withdraw from circulation and you are bringing back 460, the difference is too huge. You're still going to have shortage. That's what people are saying. And you need to have a situation whereby the so-called cashless and our internet system and electronic payment is quite effective, so that I don't even need to start worrying myself that, oh, as the money come, as the money not come. And that is where the problem lies. So to answer simply, the president has a say. And that is why he promised the APC governors that he will actually intervene. But how will he intervene? Whether to extend or to say that, okay, fine, we are not going to extend, but you can still pay your money into the coffers of CBN.
But they actually said that even after the deadline, you can still pay the old Naira note to the bank. To
CBN.
To CBN. But then the problem is, I'm paying my old Naira note. I'm not able to get the new Naira note.
That is what
so why should I actually give you the old Naira note?
That is the problem, because the shortage is not something that is stock. If you have just almost 1/60 or 1/5 of the amount in circulation, it's not possible. It's only where you know that this is the trade. You should have restricted this kind of cashless thing to the big cities or the big states. Let them start first before you now maybe talk about other states. But I still believe that yes, people are suffering, but at the end of the day, we're going to get it right. But it's just that this is not the right time to have it. A lot of inconveniences for people and for children. Yeah.
All right, let's quickly take this call. Hello, good morning. Tell us your name.
Good morning, Anna.
Fine, thank you.
Yeah, this is Mr. Oloko from Edo State.
All right, you're welcome. Please join the conversation.
This Naira redesign,
Yes, sir.
to me, these governors, they are fighting for themselves, not the masses. Because when they put the deadline, the masses who have small money, they went to the bank and dumped their money. Now, themselves who have big money, they refuse. They refuse to send their money to the bank because they want to use their money. They feel that they have influence. They can influence the president to change the date. Now, the date is still changed, 10 days. They don't want to go to the bank and dump their money. They are fighting that they are fighting for the masses, that they should shift it. To me, the federal government should not listen to them.
Okay.
Let that tent be tent.
All right. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
You know, taking a cue from what he said, he said the governors are fighting for themselves. There are also some categories of people that are saying that when it was ASU strike, governors didn't mobilize themselves like this and go to the president directly. They didn't sue the federal government for the long wait for ASU strike and the 5 months of fuel scarcity. Nothing of this nature was done. What do you make of this?
Olamide, this kind of situation, let us compare apple with apple. Let us not compare apple with orange. For example, the need for cash is different from the need for education at this moment. We are talking about present and survival. When ASU was on strike, did you see anybody being in nude, exposing himself? Do you know what it means for somebody to go nude for an adult? That is survival. So that is what we are saying, that anybody trying to compare ASU with scarcity of currency should not do so. Even the vice president himself said it, that it has to be gradual. there are some payments you made with cash. You can't be going from Ojuelegba to Yaba and you want to use cash. You cannot get that cash. You must use now transfer 200 naira, 100 naira. You are going from Karu to Area 1. It's not something that is realistic. At least for now, it has to be gradual. But there must be that money circulation. The huge money, 2,000, 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, you can do transfer. But all this 100 naira, 200 naira, people must continue to use. And I quite appreciate the response of people that are saying that deadline should be deadline, but nothing is cast in stone. It's not as if it's Lord judgment or act of apostle. At least I hope my Christian brothers will forgive me. That cannot be changed. You understand? So, but these people are suffering. Maybe you don't know. So, if they are saying that is their own perspective, I think what they are saying is that maybe if you extend that is going to favor a particular party, is going to favor a particular candidate. I have my doubts that if the candidate is destined to win with all his struggles, with all his campaign tours and so on and so forth, he will still win the election.
Absolutely.
Whether you extend or you don't extend, because he has done a lot of this. Because what people are saying is APC, that all is being done to deny APC the opportunity to win the presidency. And the candidate of the APC is Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Don't forget, he raised the issue. He first raised the issue in Abeokuta that let us talk about it. That there's scarcity of cash. Please, government, you have to do something about it. If you are trying to use it to deny me the opportunity of becoming the president of this country, it will not work. That people must go out and vote. So it's a double-edged sword. If we insist that, well, there should not be extension of the deadline, and people are suffering, and you think that is because of that governors are doing it for their own purpose, I feel it's unfortunate, but people are entitled to their own opinion.
All right, let's quickly take this call again. Oh, I think we missed it.
Okay, now taking a detour from the Naira redesign and the cash drama going on right now. You mentioned the APC rally that happened, and of course there are presidential candidates. Mentioned few things about people still going out to vote irrespective of the fact that cash is scarce. Then there's false scarcity, of course. Now, basing that on what is going to happen for February 25th, that's when the election is going to take place, should we use this present administration to actually say, oh, this is the yardstick we are using for APC generally, or you think these are like two different people? Because whether we like it or not, we still have to talk about that.
I don't know if I don't want me to respond to that. You know, what will happen is this. You want my opinion?
Yes,
you want me as an analyst, or what? How do you want to?
Any way you want to take it. Before you give your opinion, let's quickly take this call.
Okay.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. You're welcome to the press.
I'm calling from Ida. My name is Musa Aliu Hawa. I'm calling from Ida in Kogi State.
You're welcome, sir. Please join the conversation.
Yes, I want to throw light a little bit on this Naira redesign.
Beautiful.
So to me, I look at it that this is though I'm not a fan of Wale, but this is the best thing he has done to us now with the masses. For anybody to wake up now and say that they are fighting for us, they are fighting for their selfish interests. They are fighting for their selfish interests. Because this thing, that's why we have suffered. If it is suffering, we have suffered enough. Allow this thing to go. And so if we had not extended this the date from 31st December, by now this problem would have been over. No matter the amount pumped in, the so-called big men will continue to hide this money. They will not allow the new note to come out. They connect with banks and do whatever they are doing. So they should allow this thing. The deadline, 10th February, should be sacrosanct. Let's just go. By the time it is over now, you see money will start circulating naturally. So we don't need any extension, and nobody should fight for us. We have suffered enough. It's okay for us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let me just quickly answer her. Whether we use the antecedents and policies and programs of the ruling party, I have every belief that Bola Ahmed Tinubu will win the presidency for one or two reasons. Let me be clear.
Okay.
Because I think there's that general belief, and I think that is the shift, and that is what El-Rufai represents now. That after 8 years of Northern presidency, that it's equity and fairness, that we should go to the southern part of the country. And you now have a situation where you have 3 or 4 presidential candidates, or 5, I think there are 5 or 6 now. And if you look at what is happening, the direction and power of incumbency, and you have almost 17 governors in the northern part of the country. You have almost 5 governors in the southern part of the southwest, and you have 2, 3 here and there. Look at the permutations generally. Then you will now know that whether you are looking at the antecedents, the issues, and the promises, and the governance. People may not look at that at the moment. They will want to go for what they think they want to go for. And that is number 1. Number 2, people have already made up their minds. Let's face it. And it's because we don't have reliable polling system. That is why you will not know whether this candidate or this party is likely to win or not to win. So simply to answer your question, I doubt, notwithstanding the problems that people are facing, Bola Ahmed Tinubu will likely win. But don't forget again that the gentleman, at least the last 3-4 calls now, they are saying that whatever be the case, we don't even want the extension. Exactly. So you can imagine what we are saying. That people are saying that suffering, people are going nude, people are facing difficulty, but I say, okay, let us leave it as that. But whatever be the case, Naira or the old Naira notes will no longer be legal tender, but I believe very well that CBN will still continue to take the old Naira notes if you're able to take the debt. That will be the situation. Anyway,
I just wanted to drop a comment on your personal opinion with the APC presidential candidate. When you said the power of incumbency. That has happened before, that we thought the incumbent was going to come in, and you know what happened eventually.
Olamide, you want me to respond again? No, don't forget that incumbency then, when you polled from 24 states, you now put almost 5 governors out to join your opposition. That was what happened. Just referring to power of incumbency in terms of President Goodluck Jonathan. They pulled out. Imagine if you have the so-called G5 today, if they decide that they are going again against their own party, that party is finished. And up to now, we are not sure which party they are going to align themselves with. You see them saying, okay, governorship this way, presidency, we are not saying anything. So imagine if you have 5 governors out of that party now join APC. That is the end of that party.
All right. I think talking of the G5 governors, I think a few days ago I saw one of the newspaper headlines saying that Wike denied Atiku the use of the stadium for campaign. And on this headline today, we can see that IU is saying that they've settled with G5 members. Are these not contradictory?
No, not contradictory. The fact remains that that governor is still in PDP. In fact, I think he has even gone to court. To challenge the so-called idea of suspending him from the party. As far as Wike is concerned, the national leadership is immaterial to him. What he's interested in is his own survival, and his own survival is in Rivers State. He does not want what happens to Amechi, former governor Amechi, to happen to him, that he will not be able to go back home, or Governor Otili, until after some years. So I think he's fighting a survival battle to get himself entrenched in that place. He wants to be, let me use the word now, he wants to be Bola Tinubu of Rivers. No, I think that's what he's trying to do. And you can understand that is why he's trying to do all the so-called infrastructure, and then employing almost 7,000, or is it 70 or 70,000 people that he employed in the last few months. So the idea of not using the stadium, he explained that one, damage. He doesn't want anybody to damage that infrastructure in the stadium, and that part of APC, an alliance led by Toyeko, is trying to merge or trying to use the opportunity of PDP's presence in the state to campaign, and that will be challenging him as the governor and a member of PDP. I think that's just the situation in that place. It's not something that contradictory per se, but I think what he's saying, he actually denied telling Nigerians that he will now tell Nigerians who to vote for in the presidential election. He said, he didn't promise anybody. but the body language is something else.
But he actually did. He said January.
No, he said he didn't say that. That's what he's claimed now.
There's been an interview that was actually making rounds where he said, where the lady asked him and said, "Oh, you promised to mention who you are supporting by January." And he said, "Did I mention January 1st? Did I say 14th?"
So you can imagine. So these are politicians.
But his body language tends to be tilting towards other people.
No,
right?
I think I mean, don't forget that 25th so-called is around the corner, but it's a long time in politics. If he decide to say, okay, by 20th and say, okay, I'm voting for, but this is somebody, and that is why I have my doubt whether he is going to ask his supporters to vote different from what they're going to do at the gubernatorial. When PDP lost the election in 2015, this so-called Wike single-handedly, has been the pillar of the party. So I doubt if he will now pull out and allow somebody else to take over. I think that is political survival. It's not very likely that he's going to do that. He has really done a lot to maintain that party and to ensure that the party is surviving today.
Okay. All right. Still on political stories, and because you said from now to 2050 is a very long time in politics. Now there's this headline that says Lawan in, Machina out. For a very long time, it's been Machina.
Yeah.
And suddenly, Lawan is in and Machina is out. So that's according to Supreme Court.
Yeah.
What do you think of this?
Well, Olamide, let me just say this. There used to be a judge, Justice, if I'm right, Justice Kessington in Lagos State Judiciary. He once said that no matter how bizarre the judgment of a judge, whether he's drunken or whether he's stupor, whether he's retarded, it remains the judgment. So whether we like it or not, I'm not saying that maybe we regard the judgment of a Supreme Court as bizarre. No, not that. Just referring to what the man said, that that is what you have. Today, there's no Privy Council to appeal to. In those days, after independence, we had the opportunity to go to Privy Council to appeal the Supreme Court judgment. But today, there's nowhere we are going. That is final bus stop. But I think there's also provision in the Constitution, I can't remember this section now, where the claimant, that is Machina now, can ask that the court should be, that the case should be retried. But I doubt it because the time is very short. That is in justice, in judiciary terms, but in political terms, it's a long time. So I doubt if this anything can be reviewed. But don't forget, it's like 2 to 3 judgments. They are saying, well, technical terms, that the merit of the case was not argued. That is what we're saying. We're talking about originating summons and substantive summons and so on and so forth. But seriously, the lawyers from Machina, in instituting the case at Federal High Court in Yobe State, actually used the originating summons. But unfortunately, immediately I heard of the judgment in Akwa Ibom, where Akpabio was returned and confirmed at the governorship. So I have every feeling that this thing is going to happen. Let us not forget that this man has been in parliament since 1999. The Senate President Lawan has been in this thing. And if actually the people really want him to continue, whether he's holding the position or is the candidate, they can still decide. They can vote against him and vote for the opposition. But as at today, I think he's the candidate of APC, notwithstanding that the man wanted to be the president, but because he failed in that attempt and no placeholder for him like other people did in that case, so he quickly rushed back, and APC now organized so-called election primaries that INEC was not part of, did not know about, and that is what they are saying, and that is what the 2 judges, justices mentioned, that no, this is not the case that will fly. But of course, it's 3-2 judgment, and that is what we have today. So whether you like it or not, whether it is justice or judgment, because there is a difference between justice and judgment. People will tell you that no, it's very unfortunate that you have a case where this man did not even contest the election. Yes. And then this guy won the election primaries that was supervised by INEC. Now you have a situation where he has now been confirmed as the candidate of the party. And the candidate, and it's the party that actually wrote to INEC to say this is our candidate, not Machina. But let us leave the for the situation for the people in Yobe State to determine whether they really want him back, or they would rather look for somebody. But it's unfortunate that Machina cannot even be on that platform because the deadline is passed for nomination of candidates.
So unfortunate. Let me please take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Rani from Abuja.
Okay, please join the conversation.
Thank you. I want to agree with your guest in the house that the pressure of the Naira is more than other pressure with LOC. But again, I want to put it to Nigerians and the people in political position that all their policy for the past 7 years plus has been touching. It has been pressurizing Nigerians beyond measure. Only in this government we have seen fuel subsidy removed 4 times, and that same fuel subsidy is still there. Only in this government, every day, every week, we have stories upon stories. In fact, we have forgotten what we started with. We don't even know what is going to happen tomorrow because definitely there will be new news. We have touching issues that we never dealt with, and so many new ones keep coming every day. Now governors are going to court against their own person, against their own policy. Is it not funny? Buhari administration, I will put it to him that he's not proactive at all. You bring out policy you cannot maintain. The one that you met you cannot maintain. Yet you keep out dishing policies that you cannot even explain what you are bringing out to us. And again, I want to advise it, whatever that is going to come into this government by 25th of this month.
Okay.
There are so many agencies that need to be scrapped. So many agencies need to be scrapped. They are just here wasting our money. They are not working. For example, the agencies that are supposed to be educating Nigeria, what is their job? Where are they? The agencies that are supposed to maintain, that are supposed to protect the consumers' rights, where are they? How come somebody now has to be buying Naira with Naira? And nobody is talking? Please, so many things need to be corrected. Whoever is going to come in, enough of lamentation. So many things have to be corrected. Candidates with corruption tendencies shouldn't be allowed to get into that seat. Imagine somebody that did not participate in primaries is now being declared by a Supreme Court that he should be. I mean, what kind of rubbish? Even if you don't go to school, there are common sense now.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Let's take another call. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Well, I think maybe he's trying to stress on monitoring and evaluation.
No, it is quite clear that people will continue to emphasize the need for government to go and do better than what they are doing presently. I think that we all agreed on that. That is government, maybe it's the incompetence on the part of government. That is why we are facing all these issues that we are facing now. And that some agencies are just existing in name and not doing much, you know. So I have nothing to add to his own position. But the only area that he is so concerned about, we should allow him, is entitled to his own opinion. I think he has made his point. Buying Naira with Naira is actually unbelievable, but that is the reality. It's happening with video evidences and so on and so forth. It's unfortunate, and the fact that somebody that did not participate in party primaries is now the candidate. But I don't think we should lose hope per se. It's possible. We allow the lawyers to do their work. It's not. Maybe they will still go to court. Maybe not. But we're not sure of what will happen eventually.
All right. There's this headline that says NIPC moves to slash Nigeria's appetite for loans. The descriptive adjective of appetite is what is baffling me. Do you think Nigeria, would you see it in this angle, like Nigeria has an appetite for always taking loans?
No, which one is NIPC now? Because you know this man mentioned
so Nigeria doesn't
that needs to be
Was it Nigerian Investment Promotion Council?
The Investment Promotion Council is not for, it's not an agency, and that's why I'm surprised, because Nigerian Investment Promotion Council has no business with talking about loans, and that's why I'm talking. That's why I'm surprised. That is it's a difficult thing to reconcile, because the whole essence of and that's why I say you should read it, because the whole essence of Nigerian Investment Promotion Council is to encourage investments to the country, and to be able to have diversify the so-called economy from this reliance on oil and crude oil only. So the idea of saying that appetite for loans, I'm surprised, I'm shocked, because how do you expect banks to really survive if they don't grant loans? In so-called sane climes, in developed countries, in so-called industrialized countries, they don't use their money to set up industries, if that is what they are talking about. They use loans, and that is the whole essence of banks, and that is the whole essence of you depositing your money, so that the banks will now loan to investors and be able to create this. That's why I don't understand. That's why
maybe they feel like the loans are hampering on the economic growth of the nation, so they have to speak up because it's a
how can it doesn't make sense, because you need those loans. Some people have savings account, some people have current accounts. The whole essence is that make it available for banks to give to. I rather say that the so-called high interest rate is the one that is causing stagnancy in the economy, not the appetite for loans. What do you mean by appetite for loans? Do you have enough loans? Have you taken any loan at all, the two of you? People use money to buy houses. People use money to buy cars. People use money to do a lot of things that in same climes, in developed societies, they rely on credit. And credit is what? It's loan, basically loan. Absolutely. So that's why I'm saying that I don't understand. That's why I say you should read out the NIPC, whether they know what they're saying. You know, some people, they just go, you know, like Socrates said, some people have ideas, they say, then you rely on them. Some people, they don't have it, they just want to talk, and that is why they talk. I don't understand. It doesn't really make sense to me what the NIPC is saying about appetite for loans, you know.
Let's take this call before we... Hello, good morning. Hello. Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from. Are you there? I think we may have to take another. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell us your name.
My name is Sandy, please.
You're welcome. Please join the conversation.
Okay, my name is Sandy.
Are you there?
Sorry?
Please go ahead.
My name is Sandy, please. Please, what happened in the bank? Some people just like what happened in SAF. You know, some people come to the bank because of withdraw, they don't have money. You just go there and put the ATM. It's okay, withdraw. You see 0 Naira. You don't see anybody there. You just have to cause trouble there. Please. I don't know what happened SAF will not happen because they are using them to come and cause trouble.
Okay.
Everyone should be aware of it, please.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the information.
They want to use it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
That's public service announcement.
Public service announcement. We do hope everyone take the necessary precautions.
All right, viewers, thank you so much, Mr. Wale. Thank you for being a part of the show.
Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you. Pleasure.
All right, and that's where we wrap up the show for today. We hope to see you again tomorrow. I am Olamide Alhassan.
And I am Messi Babajide. Do well to go get your PVCs and get ready to vote. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.